Donkey's origin. Donkey from Shrek was originally a human boy from Pinocchio's Pleasure Island, who was transformed into a donkey and never changed back. His ability to talk, his human mannerisms, and his completely unaddressed backstory all trace back to the Pinocchio fairy tale. The theory originated from Reddit user YeremyV and was later elaborated by user TYoung000, gaining widespread coverage since approximately 2018. In the first Shrek film from 2001, when Donkey's elderly owner tries to sell him at Lord Farquaad's fairy tale creature roundup, Pinocchio and Geppetto stand in the same registration line. A sign reads, "Wanted, fairy tale creatures." If the Pinocchio story exists in this universe, so does Pleasure Island and its donkey curse. Every major character in the Shrek universe has a fairy tale source, except Donkey. Pinocchio is the only classic fairy tale featuring boys turned into talking donkeys. In Shrek the Third, from 2007, Puss in Boots asks how Donkey could have received wedgies when he doesn't wear underpants. Donkey cryptically responds that some things are better left unsaid, implying he once wore clothes and experienced school-age bullying. When Donkey and Puss swap bodies in the same film, Puss struggles to control his hee-hawing. Donkey reassures him that he'll gradually learn to control that, implying Donkey himself went through adaptation after being transformed from human. Donkey is obsessed with waffles and parfaits, human foods no wild donkey would crave or even know about. In the Pinocchio fairy tale, boys transformed into donkeys on Pleasure Island were sold into labor. Donkey's owner tries to sell him for money, mirroring this exact fate. This remains one of the most popular character origin theories in animation. Military penguins. The penguins of Madagascar are reincarnated World War II soldiers. This theory claims that Skipper, Kowalski, Rico, and Private are the reincarnated souls of World War II military personnel who died in combat and were reborn as penguins, retaining their tactical expertise and military personalities. The theory appears on the Fan Theories wiki on Fandom and has been discussed extensively on Reddit. Skipper is a naval rank equivalent to captain of a small vessel. Private is literally the lowest military rank. Kowalski is a common Polish surname among World War II-era soldiers, and Rico sounds like a military codename. Kowalski builds weapons, machines, and complex equipment, engineering knowledge no penguin could possibly possess. Rico's ability to produce and deploy weapons and explosives mirrors a combat explosives expert. The four penguins operate with chain of command protocols, tactical terminology, reconnaissance missions, and operational briefings, behavior entirely foreign to actual penguins. In the TV series, Skipper references past missions with Manfredi and Johnson, soldiers who seem to have died in various operations. During a code-breaking scene in the first Madagascar from 2005, the decoded message reads, "What a piece of work is Penguin," a twist on Hamlet's "What a piece of work is a man," hinting the penguins were once human. This theory transforms a children's comedy team into veterans carrying the weight of past lives. Divine Chief. Chief Tannabok from The Road to El Dorado was the real god all along. This theory argues that Chief Tannabok of El Dorado was an actual deity living among his people in disguise. He recognized Miguel and Tulio as frauds from the start, but played along to maintain social stability, because the real god had no need to prove himself. The theory originated from Reddit user SpiderSoup, and it's become the top 3 most voted Dreamworks theory on Ranker. When Miguel and Tulio arrive in the 2000 film, everyone, including the fanatical high priest Sekal Khan, immediately accepts them as gods. But Chief Tannabok looks confused, not awed. The chief explicitly tells Miguel and Tulio to err is human on the boat, directly revealing he knows they're not gods. Yet he still offers them gold and the option to stay, protecting El Dorado's stability. During the finale, when the entrance to El Dorado is being sealed, the chief physically holds back a massive stone pillar on his own, a feat impossible for an ordinary human, but easy for a god. The theory proposes the chief, not Tulio, actually stopped the volcano from erupting. Sekal Khan predicted the age of the jaguar would bring a god. The theory argues the god already came. It was the chief himself, who descended to protect the people from the coming Spanish invasion. This reinterpretation transforms a gentle leader into a divine protector, orchestrating events from within. Fairy Godmother's plot. The Fairy Godmother cursed Princess Fiona. This theory claims the Fairy Godmother was the witch who cast the ogre curse on Princess Fiona, not as a random act, but as a calculated scheme to force the royal family to depend on her, ensuring Prince Charming would marry into the throne and give her control over far, far away. The theory originated from Reddit user PuffPastry2001 around December 2019. In Shrek from 2001, Fiona describes the caster of her curse only as a witch. The Fairy Godmother qualifies, as she's described in Shrek 2 from 2004, as the largest producer of hexes and potions in the kingdom. The Fairy Godmother turned King Harold from a frog into a human, proving she possesses transformation magic powerful enough to create or reverse curses. In Shrek 2, it's revealed the Fairy Godmother turned Harold human on the condition that his firstborn daughter would marry Prince Charming. Cursing Fiona creates a problem only she can solve, ensuring the royals remain permanently dependent. The Fairy Godmother convinced King Harold and Queen Lillian to lock Fiona in the dragon-guarded tower, allegedly to await Prince Charming's rescue. She controlled both the problem, the curse, and the solution, Charming. At the start of Shrek Forever After from 2010, when Harold mentions the Fairy Godmother, Lillian says, "I don't trust that woman, Harold," a line the filmmakers included to signal deeper villainy. This theory transforms the Fairy Godmother from a secondary villain in one sequel into a mastermind pulling strings across multiple films. Dragon Hunters. Night Furies evolved to hunt other dragons. This theory argues that Night Furies weren't just another dragon species. They were apex predators specifically evolved to hunt other dragons. This explains their extreme fearsomeness, Toothless's resistance to the Red Death's control, and why they were targeted for extinction. The theory originated from Reddit user Going to Delete It Is, and became Ranker's #1 voted How to Train Your Dragon theory. Both humans and dragons feared them. The Viking Dragon Manual entry for Night Furies reads, "Speed unknown, size unknown, the unholy offspring of lightning and death itself. Never engage this dragon. Your only chance, hide and pray it does not find you. No other dragon species has this level of terror. Night Furies have forward-facing eyes, a predator trait unlike the side-facing eyes of prey animals. They're the fastest dragon species, possess echolocation, fire explosive plasma blasts, and have retractable teeth. All traits consistent with a predator designed to hunt agile flying prey like other dragons." In How to Train Your Dragon from 2010, when Toothless brings Hiccup and Astrid to the dragon nest, every other dragon species dumps food into the Red Death's maw in submission. Toothless is drawn to the nest, but does not obey the Red Death. If Night Furies evolved as dragon hunters, they'd naturally resist other dragons' dominance signals. No Night Furies serve the Red Death. In The Hidden World from 2019, Grimmel states, "When I was a boy and I came upon a Night Fury, I killed it where it slept." Eliminating Night Furies made him a hero, suggesting they were uniquely dangerous to other dragons. This theory recontextualizes the entire species, explaining why they were so feared, and why their extinction was seen as a victory rather than a tragedy. Jack's Bloodline. Jamie Bennett is Jack Frost's descendant. This theory claims that Jamie Bennett, the last child to believe in the Guardians in Rise of the Guardians, is a direct descendant of Jack Frost's younger sister, the girl Jack saved before drowning 300 years earlier. This explains their inexplicable, powerful connection. The theory originated from Tumblr user Little Miss Squiggles in a 2012 post and has been discussed widely across Rise of the Guardians fandom wikis. Director Peter Ramsey acknowledged the theory in a 2013 interview, saying, "Who knows? It could be possible. Is there a bigger connection between Jamie and Jack? Yeah, that could be a definite possibility." Jamie Bennett strongly resembles Jack's sister. Both have brown hair, brown eyes, and similar facial features. Jack Frost lived in Burgess as a human during the colonial era. 3 centuries later, Jamie Bennett lives in the same town. Jack's sister presumably raised a family there, creating a lineage. Throughout the film, Jack is drawn to Jamie before Jamie can even see him, making snow days specifically for Jamie's neighborhood. When Jamie tells Jack, "I'm scared," Jack flashes back to his sister saying the exact same words on the frozen pond, visually and emotionally connecting the two moments across centuries. In the official Rise of the Guardian script, Jack's sister was originally designed at age 4 to resemble Sophie, Jamie's sister. The deliberate change to make her resemble Jamie instead strengthens a descendant connection. This theory adds profound emotional weight to Jack and Jamie's bond, transforming a random connection into a 300-year family reunion neither of them consciously realizes. By the way, if you're enjoying this, I post videos like this regularly. Subscribing would really help out. Dragon Princess. Dragon was a cursed princess. This theory argues that the dragon guarding Fiona's tower in Shrek was originally a human princess who was cursed into dragon form, a separate princess whose story is told in the Shrek opening storybook. Donkey's love may have permanently sealed her fate as a dragon, paralleling how Shrek's love sealed Fiona as an ogre. The theory originated from Reddit user Sweet Soursop with a storybook breakdown and went viral on TikTok in 2022 to 2023. The opening storybook in Shrek from 2001 depicts a princess with blonde hair. Fiona is a redhead. The storybook princess physically does not match Fiona. While the narration describes a fearful enchantment, the illustrations show only dragon imagery, never an ogre transformation. Throughout the franchise, Dragon displays remarkably human emotions, falling in love with Donkey, showing jealousy, raising a family, and acting as a loyal friend. This makes far more sense if she was once human. In Shrek, Dragon appears trapped in the tower too. She whines when Fiona leaves and eventually follows, suggesting she's a captive, not a willing guardian. The dragon-donkey hybrid babies, the Dronkies, are biologically inexplicable if Dragon is a pure reptilian creature. If she was originally a different species, a cursed human, fairy tale hybridization logic applies. Just as Fiona's kiss from Shrek caused her to permanently take ogre form, her true love's form, Dragon may have fallen in love with Donkey, an animal, and permanently remained in dragon form. This theory adds tragic depth to Dragon's character, transforming her from a simple obstacle into another cursed victim of the fairy tale world's cruel magic. Death's form. Death appears as a wolf because of fairy tale fear. This theory claims that Death from Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, can take any form, and specifically chose the appearance of a wolf because, in the fairy tale universe of the Shrek franchise, the big bad wolf is the ultimate embodiment of fear, making the wolf form the most terrifying thing Puss, a fairy tale cat, could face. The theory appears in BMA's video and was widely discussed on Reddit and TikTok in 2023. The character, officially credited as the Wolf/Death, never states in the 2022 film why he appears as a wolf. In the Shrekverse, built on Brothers Grimm and European fairy tales, the big bad wolf appears in Three Little Pigs, Little Red Riding Hood, and Peter and the Wolf. He is the single most recurring antagonist in fairy tale history. Puss is a cat. In the wild, wolves are apex predators of cats. Death appearing as a wolf to a cat is the most primal possible threat. Director Joel Crawford stated the wolf form was chosen because wolves in Brothers Grimm stories represent the personification of fear, aligning with the film's theme of Puss confronting fear for the first time in his life. Death tells Puss, "I'm not a cat person," a line that works on multiple levels, if his wolf form was specifically chosen to intimidate a feline. This theory elevates Death from a generic Grim Reaper into a psychological hunter who weaponizes cultural trauma. Humility test. Tai Lung's denial was a humility test he failed. This theory argues that Tai Lung was never truly denied the Dragon Scroll in Kung Fu Panda. The denial was a test of humility that every true dragon warrior must pass. Had Tai Lung accepted Oogway's judgment with grace and continued training, he would have eventually been granted the scroll. His violent rampage proved he was unworthy. The theory is Ranker's #1 most voted Dreamworks theory. The Dragon Scroll is blank. It shows only a reflection. The message, "There is no secret ingredient," is meaningless to someone seeking external power. The test was never about receiving the scroll. It was about not needing it. Shifu and Oogway's teachings in the 2008 film center on inner peace and letting go of desire. A warrior who demands power has already failed the test. Po passed the test by accident. Po never sought the scroll for power. He fell into the tournament from a fireworks chair. When he saw his reflection in the blank scroll, he understood immediately because he was already searching for self-worth, not power. Oogway tells Shifu, "I see darkness in his heart," when looking at Tai Lung. He didn't say Tai Lung lacked skill. He said he lacked character. Tai Lung's violent rampage after being denied is itself the evidence that the denial was correct. A truly worthy warrior would have accepted the judgment. This reinterpretation transforms Tai Lung from a tragic victim of Oogway's arbitrary decision into a warrior who condemned himself. Night Fury Cape. Drago Bloodvist's cape is made from Night Fury's skin. This theory claims that Drago Bloodvist's distinctive black cape in How to Train Your Dragon 2 is made from the hide of a Night Fury he killed, connecting him to the broader Night Fury extinction alongside Grimmel, and explaining Drago's instant recognition of Toothless. The theory has been discussed extensively on HTTYD wiki forums and Tumblr since the film's release in 2014. Drago's cape is black, scaly, and textured like dragon hide. In the HTTYD universe, virtually no other dragon species is naturally jet black except Night Furies. When Drago first sees Toothless, he shows intense, greedy recognition. He knows what a Night Fury is on sight, suggesting prior direct experience with the species. Eret, son of Eret, who works for Drago, identifies Toothless immediately and says, "That is a Night Fury. Thought they were all gone for good." The emphasis on gone for good implies Drago's organization played a role in their disappearance. Drago's cape protects him from dragon fire. Night Fury scales are shown to be incredibly heat-resistant. Toothless emerges completely unburned from the Red Death's fiery explosion in the first film. This connects to Grimmel's genocide in the Hidden World. Grimmel hunted Night Furies to near extinction. A trophy cape from a killed Night Fury would be exactly the kind of status symbol a dragon conqueror would prize. This theory transforms Drago's costume design from an aesthetic choice into a war trophy. Warden's conspiracy. The Warden deliberately groomed Megamind into villainy. This theory argues that city officials in Megamind, particularly the prison warden voiced by J.K. Simmons, conspired to push Metro Man into heroism while simultaneously grooming young Megamind into becoming his necessary nemesis, manufacturing the hero-villain dynamic from childhood. The theory originated from Tumblr user TrueBlue-Megamind and has been discussed on Reddit's Fan Theories subreddit. The Lil Gifted School for Lil Gifted Kids shares a strangely similar naming convention to Metro City Prison for the Criminally Gifted. In the kickball scene from the 2010 film, young Wayne, Metro Man, openly bullies Megamind, yet no adults intervene. The bullying was permitted or encouraged to push Megamind toward villainy. Megamind's narration states he learned he was the bad guy. The school environment ensured consistent rejection. When the warden visits Megamind's cell, a guard is monitoring screens showing brain scans and invasive data about Megamind, suggesting experimentation. Despite seeming harsh, the warden wishes Megamind good luck when he leaves to fight Titan and appears genuinely happy watching Megamind named Defender of Metro City. Metro Man tells Megamind, "If there's bad, good will rise up against it. Now it's time you find yours." This theory transforms Megamind from a story about choosing your own destiny into a dark tale of social engineering. Duloc Destroyed. The fairy tale creatures violently destroyed Duloc. This theory claims that after Lord Farquaad's death in Shrek, the fairy tale creatures who had been tortured, displaced, and oppressed by his regime rose up and violently destroyed Duloc, explaining why the city appears as an abandoned, burned-out wasteland in the 2010 Halloween special, Scared Shrekless. The theory originated from Reddit user Premedit. The Halloween special shows Duloc as a ravaged wasteland with broken glass, overturned carriages, burn marks on trees and buildings, and total depopulation. This is only a few years after the first film's events. Duloc shows fire damage. Dragon had already breached the city during Farquaad's wedding and could easily return. Farquaad tortured the gingerbread man in an interrogation scene, turned Mama Bear into a rug, and forcibly relocated entire populations. After his death, the traumatized creatures had every reason for retribution. Farquaad's death left no succession plan. This theory adds a brutal epilogue to the first film, suggesting that the fairy tale creatures didn't just win their freedom, they took revenge. If you found this interesting, consider subscribing so you don't miss any future uploads. Thanks for watching.